it, Nation? Hopefully you guys are having the best damn Tuesday ever in the history of Tuesdays that have ever Tuesdayed. We have done it. We have made it to the day. I never thought that I would actually see this day. Red Dead Redemption has made it to PC. The transition has occurred. We got a nice sunset color in the background today, and we're playing ourselves some Red Dead Redemption. This could be episode number 1 of Red Dead Redemption, the original, one of my favorite games of all time. We're gonna be stepping into the boots of John Marston today. Of course, many of you guys have probably played Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know how many of you guys out there have actually played the original Red Dead Redemption. And so we're going to be jumping into it. I'm super excited for this one today. Before we end up getting started in the game, I do want to actually, seeing as how Red Dead Redemption 2 was a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, I would like to watch a short video that goes over the history, like the story for Red Dead Redemption 2. So we sort of have some context going into Red Dead Redemption of the things that happened before the game. Now, this is context that we didn't have back when this game first came out. And a lot of things were left vague and obscure for a reason, I guess, so that they could do a prequel. But I'd like to actually see how this is actually going to compare now once we know the story. So I think we're going to watch a quick retelling of the story of Red Dead Redemption 2. See exactly once we get in game how some of those things are brought up, mentioned, and referenced in Red Dead. So super excited about today, guys. A lot of nostalgia for me here. This was, honestly, this sat as my favorite game of all time for a very, very long time. Right up until, well, you know what? When did Skyrim came out? After Skyrim came out, I'm a creature of what's new and shiny, okay? And what's new and shiny sometimes takes precedent over. But when I look back and I look at what this game was and how much fun I had with this game, and this actually has to be one of my top 5 games of all time. I love this game. Love this game. Taka, what's up, man? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Happy Tuesday. He says, I've played Red Dead Redemption, but not Red Dead Redemption 2. I just can't stand the heavy and sluggish movement of Red Dead Redemption 2. You just do know that Red Dead Redemption has that heavy and sluggish movement too, right? That's every Rockstar game. I would get over it if I was you, Taka. I know that sounds pretty brutal, but I would get over it because you're only hurting yourself. You're missing out on 2 amazing games. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 is honestly one of the greatest stories ever told in video games, if I'm going to be honest. It's long, but I feel like, I don't know, man. It's such an amazing story. Red Dead Redemption is much more fluid and responsive. Abso-fucking-lutely not. What? Taka, hells to the no, man. Hells to the no. You know what? You know what? You might actually be right. They did come up with movement and everything there, but no, you're wrong. It's still that is Red Dead, or that is Rockstar to a T. I think they just look at it as more realistic movement. I'm with you though. I don't like the heavy feeling that weird. I don't know, man. I don't know how to. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about though, Taka. And I agree. I wish that they would address. I've been actually calling for that since GTA 4. I've been calling for them to redo their movement in their third-person games. I think that can just be better. I think it can be better. So, Rocket, I've got a plan. Authorities, what up, dude? How are you? Happy Tuesday. Red Dead Redemption 2 feels like a massive inner dead zones. They both do. They both do. They're both not great movement styles, in my opinion. I agree with you though. Both of them need to be, honestly, that's one thing. If I could have any wish going into Grand Theft Auto 6, it would be that they revamp the way that movement happens in all of the Rockstar games now. Because and actually shooting too. I mean, it relies so heavily on auto aim, which I feel like we're probably going to run into the same issue in this. Hopefully they've done a good port here, and the port, that auto aim, because even with a mouse and keyboard, Red Dead Redemption 2 is pretty rough. Rough. What am I, a dog? It was pretty rough. We are going to fire it up here very shortly, but I do, like I said, I want to look at the story for Red Dead Redemption 2. I feel like there's two different musics happening. Boom, boom. All right, Red Dead Redemption 2, story. What up with that story, though? The full story of Red Dead Redemption 2. This is 23 minutes long. I feel like that's a little bit too long. The complete story summary of 1 and 2, not what I'm looking for. Red Dead Redemption 2 story summary, I guess. Story explained. No. Story summary. 21 minutes long. Oh boy. 58 minutes long. These are, dude, Red Dead Redemption 2 in 5 minutes. All right, I feel like that one might be better. Do you guys want to watch a 20-minute long video, which is the story of Red Dead Redemption 2 explained? That one is by Honest Game Trailers. No, the 5-minute one, I agree. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being with me on this one. Where is that 5-minute one? Right here. This one is actually by IGN. Boop. Spoiler alert! If you haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2, for a couple of seconds. 5 minutes, perhaps. I think it's 5 minutes and 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Here we go. Here we go. Let me get it up on the big screen. Big screen! Gooman says, give that dog a bone. Oh, shit. That sounds like an innuendo. Don't do that to your dog. You know, if you were like super jacked, you would make a good Kratos. You mean I'm not super jacked? Is that what you're trying to say? Are you trying to say, Derek, it almost appears, boy, come boy. It sounds like you're trying to say I'm not a huge god. Ugh. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. You implied it, and sometimes implication is 90% of the way there. Spoiler alert!
Red Dead Redemption 2 is a sprawling tale set in a fictional version of the American South in the last year of the 19th century. The full story spans almost a decade and takes anywhere from 40 to 100 hours to complete. It's definitely worth playing, but if you don't have that kind of time, we've got you covered.
Gunner Shirk says, get the tattoo.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
I feel like that's an awful big commitment. How am I going to get a job then? No one's going to want me stocking their shelves.
Okay, so, you play as this guy, Arthur Morgan. He's the main dude to this guy, Dutch Vanderlyn, who leads this gang that's on the run after screwing up a robbery real bad. The gang's got like 20 people in it, but the most important ones are this dude, Dutch's girlfriend, the guy you played as in the last game, his main squeeze and their son, Camp Mom, and this sleazy asshole. They need a lot of money fast, so they rob a train and set up camp outside of town to do more crime so they can retire way out west.
This world has its consolations.
Problem is, the dude that owned that train is super pissed and hires Pinkerton Detective and Pete Postlethwaite lookalike contest winner Agent Milton and his little buddy Edgar Ross to hunt down Dutch and bring him to justice. They offer Arthur his freedom in exchange for Dutch, but Arthur says f*** off and the gang packs up and heads south. A lot happens when the gang's down south, but the big takeaway is that there are these two feuding families that Dutch and Hosea try to pull a fast one on to con them out of all of their, I don't know, Confederate gold?
Dutch said we was to keep on dealing with them until we find this gold.
Arthur, Dutch, and Bill get deputized, kill some moonshiners, have some fun blowing up Klansmen, everything's great. Until both houses realize that they're being played. Sean gets killed and John's son Jack gets kidnapped.
Where's my goddamn son?
Prompting some truly righteous vengeance on old Dutch's part. Of course, the law shows up again, which means we're back on the move, this time to New Orleans. I mean, Saint Denis.
Saint
where the guy
Denis.
that Braithwaite sold Jack to lives. Yeah, I know, let's not get into it. Anyways, they get Jack back, and though it looks like this crime boss could be a cool dude, he tries to set everyone up, and so Dutch again goes a little bit medieval on him.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
more than
this.
A few raised eyebrows around the gang. Okay, so now Dutch says the plan is to get out of the country, grow mangoes in Tahiti or wherever.
Then Tahiti, the Fiji Islands, or this place, New Guinea, dancing girls.
But they need one last big score to get themselves enough money to get there.
Let's rob this bastard.
This goes about as well as you'd expect. Milton shows up and kills Hosea. Lenny beefs it also. John is arrested.
Rip
Arthur, Bill,
Hosea.
Dutch, Micah, and Javier end up stowing away on a boat to Cuba that sinks and strands them on an island called Guarma. They take care of some business with the locals there and hop on a
That Guarma whole portion of the game was very, that was a weird one. That was not something I seen coming.
boat back to the good old US of A. Arthur rides to their old hideout.
Saddest ride of all time. I literally had my tears in my eyes on this
The
ride.
gang moved to this super kitschy swamp village to get away from the law. Of course, wouldn't you know it, guess who shows up right as
That
everyone
wasn't
gets
it.
back
No, it was the
together?
final ride.
Here to arrest you!
They run them off and start looking for yet another new campsite while Dutch starts freaking out that somebody's a traitor. Now we get into really serious spoiler territory, because Arthur gets the super cool news that he has tuberculosis.
TB!
A gnarly lung disease that he probably got from that sick farmer he beat up way back at the
Kind
beginning of the
gentlemen,
game.
what up, buddy? Happy Tuesday.
Armed with the knowledge of almost certain death and questioning a lot of his life choices, Arthur helps the gang move up north, where Molly comes home yelling about how she met with the cops. Susan does not like that one bit. From here, things go from bad to all-out full-blown shit show. Dutch is becoming completely unhinged, he's paranoid of, like, everybody, and makes some really bad calls. Arthur's basically got depression.
I'm worried my path is coming to an end, Mr. Swanson.
And Micah is really cementing his role as douchebag extraordinaire by convincing Dutch it's a good idea to manipulate the local indigenous population to war against the US Army to take heat off the gang. About the only good thing that happens is that Arthur gets to ride in a hot air balloon and he and Sadie bust John out of jail. Everything comes to a head when the gang goes after what Dutch is promising will be their last big score.
One score and one whole hell of a lot of noise.
A train carrying payroll to the local army fort. During the heist, John is injured and Dutch claims he couldn't save him despite trying, and when they regroup, they learn that Abigail's been captured by Pinkerton Pete. Of course, Dutch bails, which is pretty much the last straw for Arthur, who rides with Sadie to rescue Abigail. They do, sort of, with Milton telling them that Michael was the real rat, not Molly, just before Abigail gives him a lead makeover. Telling Sadie to get Abigail and Jack to safety, Arthur rides back to camp while another cool song plays and you get reminded of all the good or bad shit you did during the game. You confront Dutch, who is now officially the worst, and basically sides with Micah just because it's easier. John shows up, also pissed at Dutch for leaving him for dead, and then the party really gets started when the law shows up. The Pinkertons chase Arthur and John up into the hills, and here, Arthur either sacrifices himself to help John get his family to safety, or dies attempting to recover the money from the train heist. Depending on your choices throughout the game, Dutch shows up to forsake his surrogate son one last time, and Arthur is either killed by Micah like a chump, or succumbs peacefully to his illness as the sun rises.
That's the one we had.
The end, right? Nope. There's still like 10 hours of story left.
Yeah,
Fast
there is
forward 8
quite
years
a
to
bit
1907. John Marston now goes by Jim Milton, which is like the nerdiest name he could have picked,
Milton. Jim Milton.
and he, Abigail,
be
and Jack
Jim.
find themselves living and working on a ranch. Try as he might to go straight, John keeps getting pulled back into dangerous scenarios, and eventually Abigail leaves, taking Jack with her. Wanting to make a better life for his family, John takes a massive loan from the bank, buys a ranch, and gets down on some sweet montage action with old friends Uncle and Charles Smith. Abigail and Jack eventually return, but it's just in time for Sadie to show up and say that she knows where Mike is hiding. Still pissed about the whole ruin the gang thing, John, Sadie, and Charles ride up into the mountains to confront the handlebar jerkwad. He's not alone though, as it turns out, Dutch took that whole easy route thing and really ran with it. However, now confronted by all of his mistakes once again, Dutch kills Micah and walks away, leaving the loot from the robbery for John and his wounded compatriots. Marston returns to his family to live out the rest of his life in peace. At least until the cops show up and then Red Dead 1 happens. And there you have it. That's pretty much the story of Red Dead Redemption 2. Of
Spoiler
course, there
alert
is so
for the
much-
game we're going to be playing here in 2 seconds. There it is. So that is a recap. All right. I don't know. I mean, there's lots of little things that are missed there. We'll see if we can actually spot some of the little things as well. Like this little thing right there. Look at that. It's us standing in front of Arthur Morgan's grave. Arthur Morgan. Kind Gentleman says, oh, it looks like it's raining today. Oh. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. 74 degrees and sunny today. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where you're at, Kind Gentleman, but right here, I've got a plan. I'm gonna fire up the game right now. Red Dead. This is the first time. Oh, I had to literally. I thought about this. I'm like, you know what? I better launch the game just to make sure, because I don't know if this is gonna launch through the Rockstar launcher. You indeed have to have the Rockstar launcher installed in order to play the game. Isn't that awesome? Why wouldn't we need that? You know, enough with that and all that shit that goes along with it. So, this is it firing up right here. There we go. There we go. So right now, I have it in windowed mode. The problem is that there's no borderless windowed mode in this game. Woo! Here we go. My tears are the rain, Dutch. I had a plan. It's my tears that are the rain, Rocket. Ishi, what is up? He said, so funny, short story. I may have ran into a long lost family member the other day. I was on a walk and a random old man walked up to me to tell me a pun. Actually, a relative. Because only you and your kind would be the ones to tell puns. All right, so the shitty part is I'm going to be stuck in full screen here. Might get a little bit of a freeze up here. Game? There we go. There it is. We're good. That's the shitty part, is there's going to be probably big freeze ups that happen anytime like that. It had no context or build up at all, said Ichi. He just wanted to say it so bad. He was just looking for anybody. So here's our settings. Basically, everything's cranked to the max. I also have to do everything with buttons, not with mouse. Everything is cranked all the way up to the max. The only thing we have turned off is motion blur. I can't imagine that this game's going to be too hard to run. It doesn't have like high, low, and all that stuff. It just has the slider bars. So that's kind of unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen a little bit better than that. The only gameplay options the entire game has is golden guns and autosave. That's it for the gameplay options. So I don't know how that is. We're going to have to get into all this stuff after we get into the game. We don't know what, all that is going to be. And also the audio, again, very limited. Very, very limited. So what's the plan, Rocket? Asked Gubin. No zippers? No zippers. Zippers are weird. Are we ready? Are we ready for this? Let me get full screen all set. Let me get the full screen cam all set. Game capture is what I meant to say. Let me get that all set. Red Dead Redemption. There we go. Are we ready? Hey, there it is. Look at that. Oh, boy. Big Wheel said, what's up, Rocket? How you doing? I'm doing awesome, my friend. Thank you. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully your Tuesday's going good. Best Tuesday ever in the history of Tuesdays that ever's Tuesday. Good to see you, buddy. Says, I've played this story at least 10 times. One of my favorite. Yay, man. I love this fucking game, too. That's all I'm going to say. All right, here we go. Ishi said, this game was fun. I played it back on PS3. That's actually, I played it on, was it the Xbox 360? Xbox 360 days. I do believe that's where I played it. All right, I'm hitting the button. We ready? Let's go! Oh. Normal. Alert! Continue without saving. Red Dead Redemption save could not be found. What would you like to do? I would like to create a new save game. Another warning. What is it with Rockstar? Okay, this game uses autosave feature, which is on by default. You may turn it off at any time in the options menu. We're good. It's good. It's good. It's good. There he is. It's our boy. So what year did this one take place? Anybody remember? Rockstar Games presents John Marston. Them's the Pinkertons. I'd recognize me a Pinkerton anywhere. Big wheels, I'm right there with you. And so far it looks pretty clean. It still is holding up to the old game. It's definitely not fully modernized, without a doubt. You still recognize some of the older game, but it does look really clean now. The faces are way better. Way better. This one starts at 1911, says kind gentleman. 1911, all right. Red Dead Redemption. That music, though.
Well, I, for one, am grateful, Mrs. Bush.
How'd he get that scar?
Bringing civilization.
How'd that happen?
Savage
Anybody
land.
remember?
I cannot agree with you more, my dear. My daddy settled this land, and I know he'll be looking down on us, pleased at how we help the natives.
Yes, they've lost their land, but they've gained access to heaven.
Sure. We'll go with that.
But Father, do you mean unless an innocent receives communion, they're destined to go to hell? It hardly seems fair.
What I mean to say, Jenny, is that there is a great deal of difference between an innocent and a savage.
I never thought of it that way.
Yes, they lived like animals, but they're happier now.
They didn't remix the audio very well. I'm gonna be honest.
Not only do people now have motor cars, Father, but I heard that pretty soon we will be able to fly.
No, only angels can fly, Jenny.
No.
Yeah, Jenny.
Apparently people can fly. Didn't you hear? Out in Kansas, a man even got a car to fly.
I hardly think so, Jenny.
I remember the other game being more
Mr. John
yellow.
wants to run for governor, which is why he's so concerned with cleaning up the state.
Am I wrong?
John's.
Yes.
His family is nothing but hillbilly trash that came here after the war. I don't want to be judgmental, but this state should not be ruled by such a disgusting family. A family
You missed out, Dead.
without
You should definitely play it right now.
Apparently. But John's family have made a lot of money.
It's really
He
good.
has a lot of friends in politics.
Mrs. Bush, money isn't everything. There are many things that money cannot buy.
It seems that money can buy voters, though.
Yeah, it
But
seemed
you
like
must remember my
seem to remember the original being much more yellow. I might be wrong, though.
Word and civilization, they are the same thing. They are the gifts. It is the opportunity we have, the chance to live among people who are decent and who do not kill each other.
Gubin, can you snooze that?
And who let you worship in peace.
Can you snooze that incoming ad break?
It's so confusing, Father. Sometimes I find it impossible to make the distinction between a loving act and a hateful one. I mean, they often seem to be the same thing.
Yes, Jenny, it is confusing. But you only have to ask me if you need help.
Indeed.
Well, here we are, Mrs. Bush. Armadillo.
Armadillo. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Goobs. There it is. WASD to walk around. Use what is the mouse to look around. Okay, so mouse. Nope, still Taka still feels real clunky. The blips on the map indicate mission objectives. Head to the blip, the yellow circle on your map, and approach the X. Hey. I aim to please, says Goobs. If you pay the cheese, you don't get paid for this. You know that, right? Oh my goodness. This right here. Yes.
I don't feel too good.
All right, before we get any further, let me see if I can't work out the audio. The audio is not great. Maybe if we turn off headphones, maybe if we turn that off and maybe turn down the music just a touch, we'll go down to. I felt like the audio was, the music was overwhelming the dialogue. So I knew that John lived and Arthur died. That was it. You end up playing as John at the end of the game for about a good 10 hours, Ishi. That horse's leg twitching. That horse's leg.
Mr. Marston! Mr. Marston, over here! You must be John Marston.
Sometimes.
I'm Jake. Your friends from Blackwater hired me to guide you.
They ain't my friends, but pleased to meet you, Jake.
I got the horses saddled up and ready out front.
Thank you kindly.
I forgot how little setup that they did in this game. They just, it's you on a train showing up here.
Hit the trail.
Oh shit. Excuse me.
I ain't much of a fella for gossip. Take it easy until we're out of town. Ain't no point in causing a ruckus. I heard something.
Accompany Jank to Fort Mercer. Oh yeah. How do I, can we, I think you get a tap. Yeah. Tap shift. Control to slow and stop the horse.
So it's Fort Mercer you want to visit?
That's right.
Ain't taking nobody up to the fort in a long time. Strange place for a decent fella to want to visit, if you don't mind me saying.
If you don't mind me saying.
It's been abandoned for years now. Folks say it was built during the Mexican War. What kinds of soldiers around back then?
Why'd they leave?
Well, I ain't entirely sure. I heard they had to go up north to fight Indians, or maybe they got tired of being soldiers and went looking for gold. You know how things is.
The skybox looks really
so what
good.
What are you doing up at the fort?
I'm looking for an old friend.
Well, like I says, you ain't gonna find many folk around those parts these days. Those you do find are about as sociable as an old serrated back tooth. I mean, I ain't one to judge a man by the company he keeps, but...
Well, he ain't been friends for a long time.
Hey, Goobs, you can go ahead and snooze that next one, too, if you don't mind. I can't swap screens right now, so...
Are you planning on spending any time in Armadillo, Mr. Marston?
I doubt it. I ain't planning on staying very long.
Well, if you're fixing for some female company, you can do a lot worse than Armadillo. Fine as cream gravy they are. Not like Thieves Landing.
Cream gravy?
Those girls ain't even fit for a drinking man to hole up with.
I'm a married man, I'm afraid.
Ain't we all?
Wow. Boogie, what up, man? How are you? Happy Tuesday, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, so it was the marshal who hired me. Lee Johnson, do you know him?
I think I heard his name.
Says he got a telegram from some Blackwater big bugs asking for a guide. I guess it's none of my business.
That's right.
Rio Bravo. Ishi says, I did like how this game had more simplified mechanics, no eating, drinking, horse perks, etc.
You ain't very talkative, are you?
Nope.
I'm just chewing the dog, mister. It's how I am. I don't mean nothing by it.
How I am.
There's things you're better off not knowing.
Just take me to Fort Mercer. That's it.
I'll tell you, Mr. Marston, those coyotes eat better than I do. Not far now, Mr. Marston. The fort's just over this hill.
V to focus on enemy or on places and animals. Right there it is. Fort Mercer.
Listen,
Easy
mister,
up now.
This here's what's left of Fort Mercer. Some gang rode
Cutscene.
in and took the place over.
So I understand.
This is where we part ways, friend. You have yourself a good time.